All right, welcome to another edition of 10 Minutes with. Kate, I feel like you wore that exact same shirt on last week's show.
You too. Did we plan this?
Well, maybe because we just stopped recording last week's show about, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes ago.
And I was too busy to walk to the other room and change.
So yes, we're actually recording this week, or this week's and last week's episodes. I'm talking in the future now. This is weird. Back to back. So our guest you can see with us today comes to us from Augusta, Georgia. Please welcome the host of One and Done Radio, Ryane Dunne.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Sure. Ryane, so before we get started, you are from Georgia. You're wearing an Indianapolis Colts hat. How does that work?
So actually, I was actually born in Michigan. I was born in Michigan. I moved down to Florida when I was 9, and then I moved from Florida to Augusta. My girlfriend's going to school over here, so we made that move. Honestly, I've never even been in Indiana. I know it's a it's a weird thing. So the funny story, I know the funny story with that is I actually. When I started getting into football in 2003, my dad bought me the video game Madden 2003. So I started just playing with the Indianapolis Colts, Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, all these players, and I just watched it on TV, and I just had been a fan ever since. Now, it's funny. So in my family, my dad's a Tom Brady fan now. My mom was a Bears fan. My sister is the only Detroit Lions fan, and I'm the Colts fan. So there's no one really supporting the same team in the family, except for the Michigan Wolverines.
So, what part of Michigan were you raised in? Were you at least close to the state line, or
was I close to where?
Were you close to the Indiana state line at least?
When you're holding up the mitt, it's pretty much around here. I was from Brighton, kind of close to the Detroit area. Yeah. So, and it's funny. So, at my current job, some people didn't actually believe that I was from Michigan. And I found out probably a couple years back, I was actually born in Ypsilanti. And you have to be from Michigan to know that Ypsilanti is actually where it's at. Because some people say, Ypsi what? Yeah. Ypsilanti. So that's the only way you can really tell.
I've been to Ypsilanti. My wife has actually spent the majority of her childhood in Farmington Hills, so right down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say though, down in Augusta, we don't get the snow, and I don't miss the snow at all.
I'm in the same boat. I haven't seen snow in 5 years, and I don't.
Question: You've seen Snapchats of snow because I do that to you every time it snows here in Chicago.
And I laugh.
Oh, Chicago.
Yes.
Okay, Chicago. To be real.
Suburban.
Right, absolutely. Right.
So I'm going to deviate from this geography lesson. And can you tell us about why you started a podcast?
I said we haven't even started yet.
So about 6 years ago, I had wanted to get involved in sports media. So I started writing articles, and then my girlfriend was like, why don't you start voicing your opinion? Why don't you start a podcast? And I've always wanted to be involved in sports media and sports radio. So 6 years ago, I started it, and then I got hired in my current job. So the hours were a little tough to do the radio show or do the podcast. So I kind of deviated a little bit, but then a couple years back, I rebooted it back up, and I just love doing it. I just love voicing my opinion. I love when I hear feedback from fans, hear feedback from even people that I interview on the show. I love bringing in sports writers from across the country just to call in and talk to me about the show. So I think it's just the ability and the willingness to love to talk sports, that whether it's just me rambling by myself or talking with somebody else, just having a discussion. It's just, I grew up on sports. Sports is pretty much what I've known my whole life, and I just love doing it every day.
So what do you expect, or what should a new listener expect to hear from your show?
Honestly, whatever they want to hear. I always welcome feedback. I always welcome emails, but I always welcome, if they have a guest that they would love to try and hear, I always try and bring a guest on. Recently I had probably my biggest guest is Bob Ryane from the Boston Globe, ESPN. everything. And I've had him on now multiple times, and he's such a great guy to talk to. And I think they just expect to hear someone that gives a different side of sports. Sometimes you just hear what you hear on the on the news and just from certain anchors or whatever. I'm not saying that they're not experts, but it's always refreshing to hear different sides. Like I went on Twitter the other day when the Detroit Tigers hired their manager AJ Hinch, and people remember he was involved with the Houston Astros cheating situation, which I'm verbally not a fan of, obviously, as no one should be. But I kind of like took it like I tweeted it out like a different angle about the situation, and people liked it, and then some people were roasting me for it. But that's something that you want to have. Like you're never gonna always voice your opinion that every single person is going to agree with. That's the beauty of it. And at the end of the day, it's just something that if you want to continue to listen to different perspectives of sports, then you just, again, listen to One and Done Radio and listen to the guests I bring on, and always looking for more feedback of what I can do better and what guests people want to listen to in the future shows.
You mentioned you had Bob Ryane recently, and I think Bob Ryane is just the greatest. I've seen him on Around the Horn all those times. And one of the big criticisms that I've mentioned many times on our show that is these sports debate shows are just so fake. Like you can tell these people are they don't really care. They're just arguing for the sake of arguing for TV. But like you can tell when Bob really gets into it, he really gets into it. Like you can tell, like this is his real opinion. He's arguing it. And I recall times where he got like really feisty on TV. That's like, okay, mute.
Right. Yeah. Around the horn, I hit the mute button right there. But yeah, he's just incredible. I just first, like, it was so funny. So when I had started like reaching out to like sports writers from different websites, different newspapers, and everything, he was one of the guys I thought of, and I was sending like emails and just trying to reach out to him, and I was like, I don't know if I should reach out to this guy. He's not gonna say anything to me. And my girlfriend was like, just do it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You can say no or don't answer, and now you're still in the same situation as you would be before. I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I sent the email, and then he responded back to me. I was like, this is not him. No, this can't be. I must have emailed like the wrong Bob Ryane, some Bob Ryane who lives in Texas, and is like, oh, this guy wants to talk to me. But like, no, it was truly him. And when you just talk, and he just oozes knowledge and oozes history and what he's been involved in. Just, again, an incredible guy to talk to.
I still get the same feeling when we reach out to a guest. I'm like, this guy's never going to respond back to me. All of a sudden the email pops up. I'm like, whoa, they responded back to me.
Right. And you have so much like adrenaline going through. You're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I don't want to say anything weird because then he's not going to respond to me. Then I'm going to lose him as a guest. Like, you don't want to freak out or anything.
Like, I don't want to just like fanboy right now, but I'm fanboying right now.
Yeah. You just have the biggest grin on your face. Like, it's like, what was it? Like, oh yeah, I'll share. What time do you want me to show? And you just respond like all nonchalant. You can just do this day. That's cool. It's whatever. But inside you're like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
Yeah, it's like deep down, I'm canceling my entire schedule to make sure this happens.
Oh, I know. When that did happen, I was just like, put all my time aside. If I got to call in sick to work, I got to call in sick to work. I'm making sure this interview happens no matter what at that point.
So what's a piece of advice that you've learned since you've started your show that you would share with a novice podcaster?
Honestly, just take risk and just don't quit. I think in the end of the day, we all get, like, I've had people reach out to me and ask me advice about that as well. Like, especially when I was writing articles too. And I was just like, just do it. Even if you're talking to yourself and you have one listener, you have somebody that's actually listening, and it's going to continue to grow. Just don't quit on what you want to do in life, And they always say, like, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I firmly believe that. And when you continue to just don't quit. Any rejections is just another opportunity. That's something I heard, no means next opportunity, which sounds cheesy, but it's true. It's just something that if you get rejected for somewhere, you know that's just deep down something that you want to do. Someone's going to pick you up. Someone's going to listen to your show. Someone's going to want to sponsor you. Someone's going to want to build your show and make it to the next level. Just enjoy it. And even if you don't, but you'd still love doing it, just do it. Like it's a passion that you have, why stop?
Good advice. And that's become a common source for people that have come on this show. It's very easy to get frustrated, especially when the listener count goes stagnant on you. But you keep at it, you keep bringing engaging guests, you keep bringing engaging content, it will pick up. Just matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you never want to, like, when you start off, if you don't get hundreds of views or if you don't get any listens on your first episode or second episode, it doesn't mean you're doing a bad job. It just means you just have to keep trying. Like, you find ways to get your show out there, find other outlets to reach out to other people and just, and get guests on, bring on, and again, my show is not that big. And Bob Ryane said, sure, I'll join. Like, you never know who's going to say yes and just bring in that traffic to your show, and then it just takes off from there.
And the thing we've noticed too, we've had a few higher profile guests over the last couple of years, and it's like, if you treat, if you act professionally when you're approaching them, a lot of these people want to come on. They want to share their stories. It's a lot of people that, they're doing the interview. They're not being interviewed very much. So like, you can tell that a lot of these people they love to get on and talk and share their stories, which normally aren't getting out. So it's definitely, I think, an underappreciated market right now that I think people are just now starting to figure out that the storyteller or the storytellers can, be in that other seat.
Yeah, and when you look back on it too, like, you got to think that there are people that are, like, a lot older that understand. Like, I used to be that person who's trying to reach out to me, and I would know what it takes to, try and like get me onto the show. How someone like this person, like, me reaching out to Bob Ryane, just an example, like, he probably knows, okay, I know this kid's trying to make himself a name one day, trying to make himself a show bigger one day, and they just have, like you said, they want to help. They want to talk to you. They want to voice their opinion because, I'm sure he's not always scripted on ESPN, but I'm sure he's like, let me just talk to everybody. I want to just voice my opinion everywhere on any outlet to gets him out there. So, but he doesn't need that. But still, it's just, just keep reaching out to people, and good things will come at that point.
Awesome. So go ahead, Kate. You can close it out.
Yes. You're letting me do something. This is impressive.
Whatever. You've had most of the questions today.
Did you catch that? I flipped the script. I took all your questions just to throw you off your game.
Yeah, you did. And thanks a lot.
So, where can people find you and your show?
So you can find my show, and that's what's nice too. There's so many outlets you can find the show. So you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Google. Like, there's just so many outlets out there. Social media, you can follow me on Dunne Radio. So I gotta spell it out sometimes. So it's spell it one, my last name Dunne Radio, and you can follow me on Twitter there.
DJ, where can we find us?
I don't know. Since you've been stealing my questions, do you want to close this one out?
No, because I don't remember. I followed us like years ago.
Before we do that, Ryan, thanks for joining us today on the show. Again, you check out your show One and Done Radio, and for us, check us out at stadiumscene.tv. Give us a follow at Stadium Scene on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and at Stadium_Scene on Instagram. And we will see you next time.